looks like everyone that was in the waiting room is in now. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and then we're going to start. Annika, you can just continue letting people in as they enter the waiting room. And then I'll run with the show. I think Yoke's just assisting Nick to get on. So anyway, welcome everybody. Can you see my screen? Is it okay? Great, because I don't, and you see the full screen. It's not just the slide section screen, the presentation view. Okay, great. So welcome to Future Females for Elizabeth and to our event, Relationships and Influence, How to Present Like a Pro. We're very excited to host you tonight. We're just going to run through tonight's agenda quickly. We're going to start off now with the welcome and introduction. We're a little bit late. We were just waiting for some people to still enter the room, and we'll have them entering as we're continuing the introduction. Then we're going to have a short section with Ubiwe Child and Youth Services, where Anna Louise and Tasmin will be telling you more about what they are doing in the Bay. At 6:30, we'll be doing the Expert Power Hour with Yoke van Dam. And then after that power hour, which is totally up to her how she's going to run, it's quite exciting. It's going to be very interactive, so brace yourselves. And then we'll have the expert Q&A session. After that, we will have the thank you and closing, and then the event will end. Then we just want to thank FNB. FNB is one of our national sponsors for Future Females. We used to have our events at the FNB Conference Center in Newton Park. So as soon as we can have the events live again, we'll go back to that venue as well. Then just a quick intro for Annika Olivier, our new team member. I'm sure that you have seen her video on our Facebook page as well. I'm just going to give her a short few minutes just to introduce herself again, just for those who didn't hear her introduction earlier on while we were letting everyone into the room. So Annika, you can take it away.
Hi everybody. So anybody that weren't here earlier, I'm the new ambassador helping Carla in Port Elizabeth. I am a registered accountant, tax practitioner, and business rescue practitioner, so very much numbers and business orientated. So if any of you ever need any assistance with related matters or software or anything, I can help you connect you with the right people. I can help you with some advice or some pointers. So you guys are welcome to reach out to me at any time.
Awesome, thanks Annika. And Annika's also the one that's going to be manning our chat tonight. She's going to be launching our polls. So if you're chatting and you've got a specific question for Yoke as well, Annika will make sure that that question gets asked to Yoke. So just moving along with Future Females itself. What is Future Females? Future Females is a movement. We are a movement to inspire more female entrepreneurs and to also better support their success. We provide a platform digitally, physically, and emotionally where women can connect, inspire, collaborate, and grow with each other, and also access the resources they need to succeed. Future Females are empowered and supported to create, to fail, and to win. And more importantly, why do we exist? Future Females exist to increase the number of and support the success of female entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs globally. We have more than 22 chapters in cities all across the world, over 12,000 members, 332 contributors, and a reach of over 85,000. So what are our goals? Our big, hairy, audacious goal is for everyone in the world to be a future female, committed to and living the Future Females Manifesto. We aim to increase the number of and support of female entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs by breaking down the barriers to access the resources they need to be successful. Our values, our community operates in line with our 5 key values. We are collaborative, inclusive, community-driven, we take action, and we give first. Then we have a specific offering as well. We include free and paid monthly events, workshops. We have our Founders Club membership, and also the Future Females Business School, which is our 3-month virtual business incubator program. If you want to find out more about any of these, you feel free to contact myself or Annika, either Carla at futurefemales.co or Annika at futurefemales.co, or reach out on Facebook. And then our Future Females Business School, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about the business school, because we are actually opening the doors. The doors are closing soon. So I'm just going to explain what it is. So the 3-month program is for South African female entrepreneurs with an idea or early stage business. If you're ready to upskill and utilize technology to bring your business to life, this is for you. For each intake, there's a limited number of spots offered to entrepreneurs who are passionate about their business, about technology, and about having a positive social impact. If you want to build businesses that won't just benefit yourself, but also the community and the industry around you, then it's for you. Future Females, in partnership with the UK South Africa Tech Hub, has supported over 130 female tech entrepreneurs to date, with partial and fully subsidized spots for talented entrepreneurs ready to drive the change in the tech industry. Some of our previous member highlights include 3 of our students were nominated for the Inspiring 50 South Africa Awards. 2 of them, Nobukusi Dlamini from Bahati Tech and Bonolo Sedupane from Woka Learning, were announced in the final 50 for 2019. Sipokazi Ntiza from Kasi Labs won an award in the category of Advocacy for STEM Award at the Wumandla Women in STEM Awards 2019. 2 of our members, Nelisa Tulana and Alicia Fanika, were recently featured in Women and Home, speaking about their business Coding Mamas, which aims to create a safe space for mothers and children to learn how to code and participate in the 4th Industrial Revolution. So there I had my chance to sound like a news reporter. Now I understand why it's not the most easiest thing to do in the world, but let me move swiftly along. Then just to do a short intro about our Future Females Founders Club. You can see the wonderful benefits on screen. We also open our Future Founders Club at certain intervals to have intake of members. And it's just a wonderful collaborative space with lots of resources, lots of connection. And just for me personally, the Founders Club is what gave me that the confidence to know that I've got the sisterhood backing me up when I do go change my side hustle into my full-time hustle. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, you can also reach out. And I see time, I'm actually right on time. We're going to have a short chat to Anna-Louise Olivier from Uviwe. I'm just going to unmute her, just to give us a bit of an overview of what Uviwe is doing in Port Elizabeth. And after her, Tasmeen Rockman will just give us a short overview of what Uviwe's youth focus is all about and how, and after that, I will explain how Future Females are also going to be partnering with Uviwe going forward. Anna-Louise, you can take it away.
Thanks, Carla. Thanks, everyone, and especially Future Females. I think above all for giving me an opportunity to wear some lipstick again. So, there's many changes that we're all going through, but yeah, my mom told me, whatever you do, my girl, just dress up with some lipstick. So I've got the red on tonight. Now, thanks for the opportunity to share with you what Uviwe does. Yeah, it's not that easy, but so I'm going to try and keep it sort of together by saying, ultimately, Uviwe's main purpose is to help kids from low-income communities or kids that really do not have the same equal start in terms of, I almost want to just say, yeah, love, nurturing relationships, stimulation. So the kids that start life with a bit of, almost behind everyone else, to help them through different ways to thrive. So it's an easy word to say, to thrive. For different kids, we've realized it means different things. So in terms of, I saw the previous slide talking about, finding your why. For Uviwe, I would say that the journey is actually to help every child to find their own why. Just to make that link. So yes, COVID itself and the lockdown brought many, many challenges, not only for, I think, us as an organization, many other organizations. But I think what we've realized is we were already on a path of our theme around, working with children from the first step, which is all the ECD centers, to what we then refer to as the first job, which is more what Tasmeen is going to touch on, but that is working with unemployed youth. And along that journey, we believe there's 3 things that we can offer the youth, or kids and their families, and that's basically 1, safe spaces. Predominantly, we work in the areas of the northern areas in Port Elizabeth, which we know the topic that we seldom talk about and hear about is the gangsterism. And I think that is the silence that kind of, there's so many other things happening, but it's the silence around you don't talk out because of the fear of violence and gangs, and putting your family at risk. So the one thing that we do offer is at the centres where we're positioned, where you can see on that slide in Galvindale and Shorterville, is a safe space. Then we have what we call life-changing programs. So that is sometimes, from literacy, education, life skills, 14 different programs. I personally believe the magic for the organization lies in the third element, and that is mentorship. All the awesome people that you've seen, some of them are joining tonight, but it's actually our facilitators. It's young people that's making a difference and having an influence in another young person's life. So that mentorship or nurturing relationship is for me where the real change happened. So with lockdown, we first went into a phase of relief, as you can see there on the slide. The red part, relief was really about, I think, as we were all trying to cope with what does lockdown really mean, we realized the hunger. So many kids benefited, from nutrition programs, whether it was at the after school or teens club or at the ECD centers. So immediately, I think part of reaching out as community at large, not only non-profit organizations, but it was almost that need to be engaged in meaningful activity. So food parcels was an excellent drive. I think what we realized is we have to help families to look at more sustainable food security, moving more to food gardens and how they can create their own food rather than creating or just enhancing the dependency again. But the relief phase, I won't say we're out of that because it means different things, but especially the families that we are working with, food still remains a big need, and obviously loss in income for many parents. That is a big issue. In the restore phase, what we've realized is one, it's still helping families just to cope with, yes, the loss in income and what lockdown means. Some of our team members, Kelsey, we've started and we're going to go bigger on this now moving forward, but actually have a remote helpline for families who do not necessarily have data and internet and they can make a phone call to have the airtime, but where we can offer emotional support for parents because we know the risk for child abuse is getting higher, especially in overcrowded housing, lack of income, lack of food, stressed parents. I mean, that's just a natural, normal, I almost want to say, avenue where we know at the end of the day the kids will become more at risk. So in this restore phase, I won't say, these things are not really time bound. I think we all see it when the stats, like with the pandemic at the moment, the stats are increasing. We're now seeing the pandemic is actually going to go towards its peak. We're in this restore phase of trying to say, what can we offer the kids who do not have the data, the internet to access online stimulation or online education programs? So it's obviously fast tracking our own journey in terms of online presence and digitalization. So yeah, we're trying our best, and Tasmin will talk about that. I think specifically now for youth, where we want to see how how we can continue the conversation and engage with youth online. I'm just going to mention our dream for the renew phase. When COVID somewhere or somehow is becoming less of a, but I think we all know that it's not going to happen in the next 2 or 3 months. But the dream that we're still looking forward to is to actually establish that tech hub in Shorterville, where we can know that families, and here I include young kids from ECD level, but that everyone can be computer literate, that everyone can have access to the internet. I think we realized long before COVID that if you're coming from a community that is really limited in terms of resources, how do you connect with the world? And that is through the internet. So now it's just so in our faces that we realize we have to actually embrace this opportunity and make the best of it. So I'm sure that in future we can share with future females as well. A very, very, I think, strong campaign that we're going to run is Leave No Child Behind. And that is so core to who we are because I think it's so easy for children who have already disadvantaged to just be left behind in this whole COVID crisis. So that is our aim, that as we move from a restore phase to the new dream, to be able to say, okay, how can we really partner with business, with organizations, with individuals, just people with passionate hearts for young people? How can we partner to build that and to make sure that we do not leave children behind, even amidst COVID crisis? that's in a nutshell what we do.
Wow, wow, it's amazing. Thanks for that, Anna Luisa. You really actually managed to fit it in in a good, very good nutshell. Everything was said that I think that needed to be said. So thank you for that, and thank you for all the work that you do in the community. I'm going to move on to Tasmin now. Let me just see if she is unmuted, and then just go on to the next slide. Tasmin, can you tell us a bit more about the youth program at Uviwe?
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Carla, and thank you to Future Females as well for the opportunity. As introduced already, I'm Tasmin Rahman. I am the Youth Development Coordinator at Uviwe Child and Youth Services. And I think Anna Louise has touched on all of it already. But I just wanted to highlight the one element that Anna Louise shared, is that we try to create safe spaces for our children and our youth to engage in healthy activities where they are stimulated, where we encourage growth and the I can mindset. But obviously during lockdown now, we've had to be innovative, and we've embraced digitalization and, the fact that most things are going online. So trying to create now this digital safe space where youth can still remain connected, especially out of school youth, where they can remain connected to community and to agency, and just connect with each other, and also connect with, like Anna Louise spoke about, partners as well, those that are invested in self-empowerment and economic empowerment. And so we actually launched a Facebook group called Youth Are Heard. And if you see on the screen, there's a picture that says thank you. And in this picture, this was actually our Youth Day campaign, where we encouraged youth around the northern areas and even outside of the northern areas to basically do some introspection on the impact that lockdown has had on them, and then also to express that in a creative way online. So as you can see, there are some youth are holding up placards, and basically it was a declaration to say, this is who I am, this is what I've learned about myself during lockdown, and I am heard. For example, I made one that said, I am Tasmin, I am empathetic, and I am heard. So that is, so also trying to create a sense of community online during lockdown. But then also an extension of this, and Anna Louise spoke a bit about the dream, is launching our tech hub, where we would like to invite and create access for those unemployed youth that that do not usually have access to opportunities that you find online. We're realizing that our youth, they need 21st century skills for 21st century jobs. So I'm really excited also about partnering with Future Females, and just seeing how we can collaborate to really serve our youth in the way that they deserve, and to also just create that opportunity for them to thrive. So yeah, I think I've touched on everything. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Carla.
Thanks so much, Tasmin. Something that also stands out for me from Youth Day, specifically the campaign that you ran, is that you specifically mentioned that the youth in the northern areas have so much to give. They've got so much that they want to share with the world, and it's just to have that platform and to, like you say, have the skills, have the environment to develop those skills. And with that being said, Future Females Port Elizabeth also wants to take Uviwe, specifically the youth program, under our wing when it comes to entrepreneurial development and business skills. If we look at entrepreneur versus intrapreneur, I'm not sure if everybody's aware of the difference, but the entrepreneur is someone starting their own business, starting their own income, whereas an intrapreneur is someone that's actually employed, but they are entrepreneurial in the way that they actually approach their work and what they have to do, their jobs. So for us to be involved with the youth of the northern areas and in the youth program for Uviwe is to have Tasmin as part of our Founders Club membership. So we actually gave her a sponsored spot so that she will be able to get all the information and all the resources and the value that we offer from our Future Females Founders Club, and then also look forward to employing that or applying that into the youth program at Uviwe, and also seeing if we can actually add more of the youth into the Founders Club, and see how we can move forward, perhaps also partner when the Tech Hub dream becomes a reality, and also to share our events and inspiration with you guys. So I look forward to the opportunity that we have to work together to make PE even greater than it is, and to give everybody an equal opportunity for success, and to not just survive but to thrive as well. So
Yes.
as well. So thank you so much for what you guys are doing, Tasmin and Anna Louise. I'm going to move on now to our speaker and to our event, or our main event for the evening, our relationships and influence presentation, or rather the power hour of how to present like a pro. I just want to check and see, oh, there's Yoke. I just wanted to make sure she's here. So I'm going to just quickly introduce her to you, and then we're going to play a short video, and then after that, the stage is going to be yours, Yoke. So, Miss, may I leave early to warm up the pizza? As a 15-year-old, persuading her teacher to let her out of class early to set up her pizza stall was one of Yoke's first experiences at persuading and influencing someone to buy into her ideas. Ever since then, Yoke has been hooked to selling not pizza, but she does still like pizza though. I've seen it on Facebook. Since that day, her love affair with sales, influence, and persuasion has only gotten stronger. Yoke has worked in the sales trenches for the past 16 years as a sales professional, sales trainer, and behavioral coach. Her hard-won sales experience is backed up by solid academic experience. Not only does she have a BIS degree in publishing, but numerous certificates in behavioral change, including neuro-linguistic programming. Today, as a behavioral change coach, see, I need some coaching. Today, as a qualified behavioral change coach with 2,000, sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm just going to, I'm really sorry about that. I've been struggling with, you know what, is it okay? I'm just going to go on to the video.
Right, Yoke van Dam. And as you step on stage, keep on hanging on to every word you're saying. And be mindful when you're drinking coffee, soak in that experience. When you're sitting with someone, have a proper conversation and real human connection.
Yoke, you can take it away.
Can everyone see my screen? Yes, brilliant. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Carla, for the opportunity, for flying me in all the way from Port Elizabeth. I really enjoy being in Port Elizabeth. And Nick, thank you so much for driving up, and Mika, all the way from Johannesburg. You really have supporters when they actually cross borders, even when it's illegal. So thank you, guys. So in the chat box, I would love you guys to quickly go and check for me if you can type A or B. Which are you? Would you rather bungee jump down a cliff, or would you pick up a microphone and stand in front of an audience of 1,000 people? Which would you rather do? Just type in A or B. So I'm getting a lot of public speaking and some A's as well, hey? So Annika, please would you mind unleashing the first poll for us? Is it possible for you to do it? Do I need to stop sharing my screen or? Okay. So everyone, I want you, brilliant. I want you to quickly answer, which one of these are you? Do you grab the microphone at every opportunity you get? You love public speaking and promoting your business, or are you the number two? You'll do your elevator pitch at a networking event, but only if they force you and everyone else is doing it. You know, it's almost like BNI style. They're going to give you the evil eye. You don't have any choice in the matter. Or you really avoid speaking, public speaking at all costs. You really don't enjoy or like it, and you'll even just like unplug your microphone so that you don't have to say anything. So I'm just giving you a bit of time, and Annika will, once everyone has voted, she will release the results.
Yeah, that's rolling in.
Let's just see, because we are 13 people, and I think the three of us can't vote. I think you can release the results if you want, Annika. So it looks like 70% said you'll do your elevator pitch, but only if everyone else is doing it. So today you will get that little chance because everyone else will be doing it, okay? Just kidding. And then 3 of you said you really love public speaking and grabbing every opportunity that is actually given to you. Brilliant. You can stop sharing the poll results for us, Annika. Thank you so much. So I wanted to just share a bit with you guys my journey. So of myself grabbing the microphone so you could see a bit of background. I think it was 10 years ago. I was sitting in a presentation skills training. I was working for Pearson Publishers, marketing textbooks, going to FET colleges, speaking to lecturers, and I was utterly frustrated and irritated with my life. But what we had to do is we had to do these large-scale presentations in front of an entire campus of an FET college of like 200 people, right? So I attended this presentation skills training, and there was this lady, and she spoke about climbing the 7 summits. I think she's climbed Everest like 5 times, and coming back, and she gets sponsored by First for Women, insurance, and different places, and then she'll come back and she'll speak about endurance, resilience, self-discipline, how you need to do so much weight training because while you're climbing Everest, you're actually losing so much weight. So you need to actually pick up weight before you go, and then afterwards you have to change your eating habits because otherwise you are going to like roll out of the room, right? Because you're not climbing Everest anymore. Anyway, so I said to her, this is my dream. I would love to do speaking as a career. I would love to be a facilitator. I would feel that I'm using my talents. And I said to her, so how do you go about it? And she said, well, maybe join Toastmasters. So what happened in my life was every single opportunity I got, I was grabbing a microphone. So you'll see over here is even a photo at my wedding 4 years ago where I was grabbing a microphone. I wouldn't allow my husband to do the speech on his own, hell no. And as I went through the years, I really believe in Malcolm Gladwell's philosophy of the 10,000 hours. So I believe that if you put in the hours to learn to do something, then you can actually shortcut another person's time. So what I'm going to learn, you guys, the things that I want to teach you tonight might be things that I've learned through my mentors and physically presenting for 10 years before I was ever paid to do any training or facilitation. So for me, it was after hours, weekends. When I was working at Entrepreneur Magazine, I literally sneaked out to illegally go do training for clients after hours, you know. So I was starting the business, and that's what I loved what you were saying, Carla. You can be an entrepreneur, you can work in a business, but you can have an entrepreneurial mindset. You can actually start a side hustle and hone the skills and develop it and get the evidence that you're good enough until you're actually ready to walk out and have a business. So I know that most of you guys are not in the speaking or training business, but that's why I want to encourage you to show you how can public speaking be one of the best ways for you to influence a customer. And I loved when Anna Louise, you did some amazing storytelling, and I was listening to some of the buzzwords that you were using. You can optimize these skills to get more people to give away money. You know, you could use it to actually raise funds to get business partnerships. So for you, the moment you can actually step up, grab a microphone, whether it's in front of a group of people, or it's like we're doing today with a webinar, or you are just making a video that you can put on your social media, it's all opportunities where you can influence and persuade. So that's what you can look forward to today. So what am I doing for my business? In 2017, I then officially started my business, Y Connect. It's a training business, and I train people on presentation skills. During lockdown, I pivoted one of my courses online into a 6-week online course. And I will also be doing, I love what you said, Carla, we'll be opening the doors soon. So you can also get on my waiting list. So, so something that I recently learned from a business coach is sometimes people don't want to take the entire package. Sometimes they just want something smaller. So I've actually realized that there are potentially different people at different levels. Everyone doesn't necessarily want to go the entire journey. Some of them just want to learn how to now present virtually, for instance. Others want to learn how to do videos. Well, others really want the full journey, get into the head of the clients and all of that. So in my training that I've done with leaders, entrepreneurs, MBAs, PhDs, people that I did work with Potch University, Northwest University in January to get their second year MBAs ready for their MBA presentation. So what they have to do is they go in a group format. 3 or 4 of them have to present their group project together and to a panel of judges, professors. But what they're really frightened about is speaking in front of their peers. So the second day they present for peer review, and that is really scary because that's where they rip them to shreds. So for them, it was all about how do you get into the confidence and how do you really believe in your message so that people actually buy into your concepts. I'll be sharing some of the things that I actually shared with them as well. So some of the things that I was doing, there's actually a lady on the call, I don't know if she's left, Karine, she was in my 6-week course. So we were even doing things around voice, we were doing things on videos, we did a wide variety of things, and we'll chat about that a little bit later. But when you are doing work of people, and this is my first advice that I want to give to you, is make your client the hero, not you. If you can show people how you can uplift your clients. So Carla, with your marketing messages, you do that beautifully. I mean, even with the Future Females marketing that she was doing, she was setting me up for success as the client through putting a beautiful spreadsheet together with the whole social media plan. She's so utterly professional. I would be like, wow, any company would give their left arm to have you do their marketing for them. So how do you set your client up for success? So these are some of my clients, and I just wanted to share some of their hero stories. So on the left-hand side, we have Lindiwe Marquez. She has her own IT company, and she came on my presentation bootcamp. And in the meantime, she's come on multiple of my one-on-one coaching sessions. And one of the times she came to me and said, Yoke, I've just been approached by Absa Bank to go and do a procurement pitch. So they were giving level 1 and 2 BEE companies the opportunities to present. So it's an amazing opportunity. It's actually the supplier group that she has to present to. And we sat for 2 hours and we put her entire elevator pitch together. 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes. And during the session, I say to her, Lindiwe, just double check. just ask the guy, what's the format going to be? Are you going to sit like knee to knee, you know, across from a person, and then you move to the next person, like speed dating, speed networking? Or, you know, are you actually going to stand like with B&I, where everyone just gets a chance to speak for 1 minute, or do you have longer time? So by the time she's ready to leave, she says to me, oh, the guys just messaged her. She has 5 to 10 minutes to present in front of a room over a microphone. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we have just, so my lesson to you is check what your format is going to be. If you're going to speak anywhere, find out. Is it going to be over a microphone? What is the setup? Are they expecting slides? So what was quite nice with her is we actually worked on quite a lot of different business stories, and we put 3 stories together. We added an opening and a close, and boom, she had her presentation. She just had to go and learn it. So the moment you actually have a few short stories, that can help you a lot. Another hero is Ian Furr. He was the CEO of Sorbet. He's an incredible storyteller. He didn't need any of my help on the presentation skills side, but he was having so much anxiety, he couldn't sleep at night. So his wife contacted me and said, I can't deal with it if my husband has so much anxiety that I almost, you know, want to kick him out of bed for 3 months before his next book launch. I can't deal with it. So you'd be paid really decent money, but it was causing marriage problems. I'm just kidding. So I went to the penthouse and I did NLP process work with him. So the kind of coaching that I did with him was actually to help him overcome that fear and anxiety so that he could create a new pattern of behavior. And instead of stressing and not sleeping, it would have a different neural pathway. So I won't go through all of them, but just the last one. This is my good friend, Marianthe Smart, and she has just a few months ago won the Pitch SA. So I didn't have anything to do with her movie script, but she had to go, and as their final project, they had to pitch in front of a panel of judges to potentially win money to make a film, and they won 300,000 Rand to make this movie. So if you have a high-tech presentation coming up, you want to make sure that you're well rehearsed. You want to make sure that you actually get the outcomes that you want, because as I said to her, people are only going to listen a very small percentage to what you actually say, but mostly they're going to judge you on your facial expression, on your confidence, if you are actually believing what you have to say, your storytelling, all of that. So that is what we specifically worked on. So why should you present? I recently, just want to illustrate something. I recently read this book. I'll just show you guys as well. It's called Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman, and I'm going to explain quite a few things. I actually picked up some amazing things for this presentation today out of this book. And Daniel Kahneman speaks about systems thinking. So I just want to make it easy for you guys to understand, but what he basically says is we operate from 2 systems. System 1 is where we quickly put people in boxes and we make very quick decisions. So if you're operating on system 1, it doesn't take a lot of thought. So for instance, if you're driving your car down an empty highway, you don't really have to concentrate that much. While if you're driving in the middle of hectic traffic, if someone's talking to you, you're going to tell them to keep quiet because you're not going to actually be able to listen, right? So if you are actually making a presentation to clients, do you want them to really struggle to hear what you're saying so that they really have to concentrate so hard because it's terrible for them? Or do you want them to actually to be able to take it in a nicer way? So what Daniel Kahneman said in his book, and that's what I want to illustrate just with some of my tips for today, is he said, make it as simple as possible for the person to pay attention to you. And I wanted to illustrate it with a little story of Leanne Hughes. So I met Leanne Hughes online. She's from Australia. She's an international facilitator. And my very first interactions with her was someone, as part of the Professional Speakers Association of South Africa, posted on a WhatsApp group and said, amazing facilitation group. Okay, so I went onto her Facebook group. So she created a community for international facilitators to share ideas, icebreakers, really amazing. From there, I then noticed every single week she would post about some other podcast, and I wasn't really listening to podcasts, but then I would see, wow, it actually sounds so interesting, you know, it's about leadership and this and that, and eventually I started listening to some of the podcasts. And then, I don't know, I connected with her on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I started commenting on her posts. Eventually, I inboxed her on Instagram. And finally, I went on her first-time facilitator bootcamp online, a paid course, before lockdown, because I really felt that I trusted her and I knew her. I'm still now part of another paid community with her, and I've never met her face-to-face. So what is really, really interesting is she says, Google did research which shows that a person will take roughly 7 hours to trust you. So what kind of content do you have out there? So this could be blog articles, it could be articles of yours in magazines, it can be podcasts, it can be YouTube videos, but a person can also face-to-face spend that amount of time with you. So maybe Mika, who's in BNI, would maybe know, and Carla, you are in quite a few of the business chambers, so you end up spending so much time with those people. Nick and I are in a lot of different communities together. So, so we were part of a 2-day course beginning of the year. So by the end of that, everyone's friends, you know. But do people get to know you, and is there actually material of yours out there so that people can feel that they like you, that they feel that you are familiar to them, and that they can trust you? So that is the whole notion behind public speaking. Get in front of a room, make videos, do webinars, because people will start seeing your face and knowing who you are. So another example, a friend of mine always jokes about this. I've had quite a lot of friends in the real estate market. So what do? They'll put their face on a dustbin. And it's terrible because, you know, you don't want to be associated to a dustbin. But do you know that everyone in the neighborhood gets to know them? They know their face, they know their name. They're in the top central locations. Just the other day, I was driving back from my shopping with my mask, and I saw the dustbin with a real estate person's face, and I was like, that is a really good location. So not that you necessarily want to do that, but how are people seeing your face? How are people getting to know you? So that is just a question I want to put out to you. How are people getting to know you? So what can exposure mean for you? And a person that I personally felt very familiar with just because of the TV series she played in was Meghan Markle, because she was in Suits, because I watched every single freaking episode of Suits, and here she goes off and marries a prince. Anyhow, and what Meghan did really, really well, long before she was a duchess, and not a duchess anymore, is she did a lot of public speaking, and she's never stopped. So one of the videos that I would highly want to motivate you to go and watch is the video that she did at the United Nations for Women. Please, can you guys just wave? Did you see that? If you did, just do that. Did no one see it? Because I've got only Renata that's actually waving a hand. I will find it and send you guys the link tomorrow. Okay, because Carla's giving me your details. Please go and watch it. What's really interesting is Meghan has always been really big about feminism, and she spoke about, it was a beautiful little story of where she was a little girl, and there was a dishwashing liquid and they were sounding very sexist. And they said something along the lines of, the dishes will be nicely washed by women, or something along those lines. And she said to her dad, but that's not right. And her mom said to her, why don't you write a letter to the most important women that you know? And she ended up writing a letter to Hillary Clinton and a lot of people. And Hillary Clinton responded. And by the end of it, they actually took that advert off and changed it to not be so sexist. So as a young little girl, she already had influence. And what was also very interesting for me is I put a photo here of when she was in South Africa. So I'm a bit of a groupie. I mean, I watch Suits, so I was all into Meghan because of Suits. Probably nothing to do with her, just Suits. And what was interesting for me, look at the way she's dressed. She's dressed in a much more African way. She's not dressed in a high elite status. If you listen to that speech that she made, it was all about, I actually cried a little bit, I'm such a groupie, where she said, I'm your sister. And she was associating with these people in a way that they could feel familiar to her. And she was taking herself off that throne and making herself part of the people. So how do you make the people the hero and not you? That's really what she did incredibly well. And just in terms of her personal brand, what is so interesting for me, when her and Harry decided to step away from the royal family, she very quickly got her voiceover opportunity with Disney, and the money also went to charity. And the movie was released in April called Elephant. So her personal brand is so strong, and it's been built for years and years and years, but she's keeping on doing the public speaking. So I want to ask you guys a quick question, and please type in the chat box for me. When is the last time that you Googled yourself? So your name and your surname, and even your company's name, and where did you find? And can you, as homework, after today, do that, type it in, and see what comes up on images, news, and video. Do you actually come up in those 3 channels? Is anyone keen to unmute themselves and tell me how happy they are with those results? Okay, so Nick's fiance is asking him, I'm asking you to unmute, Nick, but I'm not getting it right.
I've unmuted. Thank you.
So Nick, what does Google say about you?
It says that, well, firstly, there were some pictures. Luckily, they were pretty good ones. So, you know, that's always a good thing. And then the other is I run a wheelchair accessories company that won a few awards. And I also do public speaking and stuff. And so most of the information that came up was related to that. Luckily, no negative press or anything like that, because I'm a stand-up guy, even though I'm a stand-up.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Awesome. Carla, I want to share again. I'm struggling to share. Let me just see. Oh, there I can. Thank you. Has anyone read Dr. Robert Cialdini's work? Just wave your hand if you have. No one. So I'm a really big fan on persuasion, and I just wanted to highlight 2 things of you from one of his books on persuasion. And that's also really aligned to why public speaking can really help you. So in his research, they could see that a physiotherapist that had their certificates showing their credibility on their walls, they had so many more people actually doing the exercises at home. And also in the real estate market, when they changed the way that they were answering the phone, to kind of showcase the person, to say, so let's say Karina's phoning me because she wants to buy a house and the phone's ringing, and I'll say, hi, real estate services of Yoke van Dam. How can we help you? Are you looking to rent or buy? And she says, buy. I'll be like, I need to introduce you to the expert in the buyer's market. Tasmin has been in the housing industry for the last 15 years. I'm joking, Tasmin, I know you're not that old. So our clients are highly satisfied with our services, and I'm going to put you through right now. So actually just positioning the person in a way, when they answered the phone, led to 20% more appointments and 15% more contracts, signed contracts, just by doing that. So what I want to ask you is, how can in the chat box, how do you create authority as a speaker? Any ideas? And have you picked up anything that I did today sneakily to do that? And it looks like Karin wants to type something. Let's see. So guys, just type in the chat box, or if you want to say something out loud. So how do you position yourself as an expert if you are speaking somewhere? So you don't have to be a speaker. I know that there's only a few of us that are speakers. Showing your previous successes was great. Okay, so I used some case studies. Annika was saying confidence and power dressing. Nice. Creating a presence, Renata.
Developing an introduction, you know, like a bio, and you should personalize it to the audience that you are presenting to.
Brilliant, brilliant. So if you actually write a bio, then it actually directs people's thoughts into how you want them to see you as. So that specifically helps. Something else that I did in a sneaky way was I gave Carla a little video. So it also showed radio interviews. It showed me live speaking. So in whatever industry you're in, do you perhaps have photos of you doing the book somewhere, Annika? Could you maybe have some accounting books there? Or, you know, can you take some interesting photos where you're actually illustrating, or when you're standing in front of Sash, or things like that? So in what way can you actually showcase what you do? Is there maybe case studies that you could share? So when I was telling the little stories of the clients that I had, that was also showcasing. So I was actually saying, you know, Ian Fur. So the moment people know another celebrity, they're like, oh my goodness, Ian Fur. Oh wow, I've read his book. So is there some companies that you've done work with? Is there people that could be in the audience that could feel like there's someone similar to them? So that's where they call it consensus. So if you're speaking to a very female audience, maybe you would have more photos of women on your pictures, depending on if it's really good looking guys. That also works, you know. So or people's sexual orientation, you never know. So that's what Carla's saying, relatability. People need to feel that they are similar to other people that you've worked with. So I was working at Entrepreneur magazine before I went into sales training, and there was a very interesting campaign that I wanted to tell you about. So it was actually an IT company. They were doing IT managed services, and in the advert they put a map of Africa, and then they put logos of all of their resellers. And then I think the text was something like, are you like one of them? Or something like that. You know, we service these guys. And they had such a huge response of other IT reselling companies that were similar to those who were jealous and who were like, we want it too. We also want to come on board. So the moment people see people that are like them, they want more of that. So can you showcase and go and find little case studies and stories of photos, of videos, of you doing work of other people. So I think Tasmin, what might really be nice is I couldn't actually see Carla's slides because I think I had my own open, but I think you guys had slides that you were showing as well, eh? So images really works, and stories. If you can go and find a really powerful story, that will really make a huge difference. I just want to know if everyone's okay or if you need a 5-minute bathroom break before we continue. Can we quickly get a vote? Do you guys want to say? Do you want to put it into the chat box? All good. Everyone says they're okay. Okay, 100%. So we will continue. So something interesting happened. I was telling you about Leanne Hughes, that I invested in her course and I'm still investing in her. And then something strange happened. She said to me, "Do you want to be interviewed on my podcast?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll get in on your international Australian podcast any day." Anyway, so the moment you actually start putting yourself forward, other people will start asking you to do things. But I just wanted to share with you some of the advantages to getting in on other people's channels. And she actually put this beautiful visual together. So after the interview, which happened on a Friday morning, it only went live on the podcast on the Monday. So she, for instance, put it on a podcast, so that's all audio that you listen to it, but then she'd also recorded the video. So you can see over here, the colorful one, that was the YouTube thumbnail. Then she made an Instagram visual, and then she did an extra other visual where she actually grabbed one of my quotes and added my photo in there. So what I want to say to you is, the moment you get involved and you offer some of your expertise, you get a lot of free marketing. Hey, Carla. Thank you. So especially if the people are really good, they will really make it look amazing. So sometimes that really opens up doors for you. And if you're going to be presenting at a company, you could always ask them to write a testimonial for you on your social media and that as well. But I just wanted to show you the high quality of material that she provided me with. And then what I want you to think about is, if you're going to be speaking, and that's what we'll have an interactive discussion around now, is what could your topic potentially be? If you had to present somewhere, and this was just an illustration, I had decided that one of my topics, so I have a few different ones because I'm a trainer in various avenues. One of mine is emotional intelligence. So I managed to get articles in on Entrepreneur Magazine and entrepreneur.com. So those you'll see over here on their website. So even if I Google myself, I come up on entrepreneur.com, and that has more credibility than just my own website. So that's why you need to get your thought leadership in other places. Because no matter how much you write about yourself, the moment you're on a separate platform, that's where people see more credibility than just your own opinion. Then you'll see that little video that I showed you was actually a photographer 2 years ago. She asked me to help her with the conflict resolution piece, and we did a trade exchange. So I did a mini masterclass for photographers on how do you calm down an unhappy client, how do you get better customer service, because what often happens at, for instance, a wedding is the photographer will do everything in their power, but the people will be late. So the makeup artist will be late, the hairdressers will be late, or closed, or whatever it might be. And then the photos don't end up looking great because the lighting has changed. So some of my advice to them was, you need to work it backwards. If you need to have the photos taken at 5 o'clock during the golden hour, you need to put a timetable together to make sure that the people in all of the different avenues get their stuff done so that your photos are not messed up. So in the same way, those is just one of the areas in which I was providing thought leadership. So now let's get into your presentation. So if you're going to be doing a video, a presentation, a webinar, whatever style, I want you to think about this. So just write this down for yourself. What's your goal? Where are you going with this? Is it to educate the client? Is it to give them better customer service? Do you want repeat business from them? Why do you want to make this video? Why do you want to talk to them? What is your goal or your outcome that you're seeking? Everything in life is not just about immediately getting a sale. The journey of a sale is sometimes a bit longer, so maybe it's about building trust. So Tasmeen and Anna Louise, when you were talking about the work that you do, it could be about building trust with potential partners so that they want to take your hands, you know? So what is it that you actually want to achieve through doing that? So one of my favorite sayings comes out of Alice in Wonderland, the movie, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this piece. So she gets to this little cat in the tree, and she says, he says to her, she says to him, which road should I take? And he says, well, it depends where you want to go. And she said, I don't really know. And he said, well, then any road can take you there. So if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up somewhere else. So you need to know what is your intention, what is your vision, where are you going, so that everything that you do is going to feed you in that direction. It's going to position you to be that expert, you know, to be able to do that voiceover for Disney or whatever it might be that you want to achieve. Or if you want to marry a prince or whatever. I'm just kidding. And what do you want the audience to do? So you need to be very intentional and ask yourself, what actions do you want them to take? So do you want them afterwards to go click on a link? Do you want them to go write a testimonial? Do you want them to set up an appointment with you? So Annika, with you in accounting, hey? Perhaps it's that you actually want them to book an appointment to find out more about your services, or maybe you've spoken about, you know, the new SARS laws, or, you know, the new UIF things or whatever. So you want them to book a Zoom appointment with you so you can take them through those things and it can potentially become a client. What do you want them to specifically do? So what I want you to think about, and I want everyone to write some ideas down because you will brainstorm this now with each other, but I wanted to share a little story with you. The way we influence people is either through fires or through aspirations. So fires are the things that your clients are afraid of, the things that they are walking away from, the things that they don't want anymore. So I'll share a fire story from someone that I've recently given my money to because I was like, I can't deal with this fire. Just do it for me, please. So what happened is a good friend of mine, Nick, you know him, Yoke van Dam, contacted me, and we're actually in a LinkedIn sharing group. And I was sharing a LinkedIn post of mine and hoping that they were going to comment so that the algorithm could favor it and more people could see me. Anyway, and the next moment, I get a WhatsApp from him to say, I've commented, but please go check your inbox. And he sent me a message on LinkedIn and he said, I know that a lot of people don't like it when you just give feedback, but I know you well enough, and if you don't no longer want to be my friend, it will be fine as well, but I need to give you this feedback anyway. So I'm going like, oh my goodness, what is this? And he says to me, he was giving me feedback about my brand messaging. And he was saying to me that my brand messaging was all over the place. I was trying to be everything for everybody. And he said, if people arrived on my LinkedIn, they didn't clearly know exactly what it is that I do. So I said to him, I just responded over WhatsApp. I was like, okay, just quote me and help me. I can't deal with this. I'm too overwhelmed. I'm too busy with other things. So he pointed out a fire in my life, and I know that it's really good. And then something had happened just to show you also how great he is. So he's still busy doing that for me. He's doing this whole legacy writing thing for me about my purpose. I even cried a bit. It was all about why are you on this planet, and what did you survive, and what do you really believe, and why are you doing what you're doing? So you have to like really reach deep. Anyway, and then I was contacted on Sunday through Karin. You don't know this yet. Oh my goodness, I'm saying it's on a webinar. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I was contacted to pitch for a conference. I'm not going to give too much detail anyway, so I immediately asked him to help me. He met me and quickly wrote me a bit of that piece about the pizza, which I then used again tonight. So I'm just saying to you, if you're clear about what you do and you can help people with the fires in their life, they will throw money at you. Because people don't have the time to do everything themselves. They're too overwhelmed. Let them rather do what they can do so that you can help them with what you're really good at. Don't feel bad about it. That's why you need to think about, so write down for yourself, what are the fires that they are killing? Or on the other hand, do they have aspirations? Are there mountains they want to climb? Are there specific goals they want to have? Do they have specific needs, you know? Do they want to do that voiceover for the next Disney show? What are their aspirations, the things that they really want to have, you know? What will success look like for them? So can you help them either kill a fire or satisfy a need or a desire? And what you'll find, sometimes people are not willing to change. So Netflix many years ago approached a company that you might know called Videorama and said to them, at that stage, Netflix was doing DVD deliveries, while Videorama was just having the DVDs and videos in the store. And they said to them, don't you want to go and can't you advertise our website and our delivery services and in your stores, and we'll advertise your stores on our website? And they said no. Videorama is now closed and Netflix is a $28 billion company. So sometimes you will come up with amazing opportunities for clients, but they might just not be willing to go for it. But then remember the Netflix story and tell them, are you going to be like Videorama? And even if we watched what's been happening with COVID, a lot of businesses were just unwilling to change, unwilling to pivot, unwilling to look at new opportunities, unwilling to try new things out. So is there a way that you could actually help them? But during the change process, people might be going through denial, anger, negativity. They might be angry, they might be lazy and not want to do something. But the opportunity in that is sometimes you can actually ask them a lot of money to just do it on their behalf. So sometimes people don't want the DIY approach where you teach them. Sometimes they just want you to take it over. So how could that offering look like? I just wanted to show you this little change curve. So during COVID, people were getting stuck here at the beginning of it, denial, anger, pessimism, despair. But if you can help your clients to get to a point of acceptance and optimism, if you can help them through those fires, navigate through that pain, that's how they will survive. And that's why you can't actually stay stuck there. So I want us to quickly do just let's say a 5-minute breakaway room. And I want you to answer these questions. So everyone quickly write it down. Well, Carla is putting people in groups of 2, please. Who are you? Who's your ideal clients? What's the fires in their life? What are their goals? What does success look like for them? And what is stopping them? And you will have 2 minutes to chat to that person that you were talking to. So quickly just get these questions down. Who are you? Who's your ideal client? What are the fires they're trying to kill? Or what are the aspirations? So it's either they're moving away from something or they want something. And what is stopping them from getting that? Carla, so you will be able to put everyone in groups, hey? Okay. And will you do the timer just for 4 minutes?
Okay.
I'll tell you when they have to come on.
Great. So I'm going to open the rooms.
Yes. Is there any questions regarding this, guys? Does it make sense? Please unmute yourselves and tell me if it doesn't make sense. Okay, you're going to the rooms. Cool.
Yoke, I haven't assigned you because you can then.
No. Yes. I can't actually send them something. So I think what I should do, Carla, must I email you those questions so we send it to them? What do you think? Or I think they'll be okay. Or what do you think?
I think actually they'll be okay if we need to add it. But I think.
Okay. I'm gonna quickly set the timer just for 2 minutes, so that after 2 minutes you can send them a message to say next person.
Okay. I'm just like
cool.
Some people moved around now, or they stopped. I think they're scared of. They don't want to be in a group.
That's fine.
So I just have to see some people are alone in a group now. So I'm
a shame. Then just put them. No, cool.
With people. Let me just see if I can organize that.
Do that.
Okay, it looks like everybody's in a group with at least one other person except Anneke. Let me move her.
Shame. Even if she's in a group of 3, it's fine.
Okay, she's in a group of 3 now. Great. Gaynor needs to be moved. She's alone. Shame. Okay, moving her to breakout room 8.
Oh, yeah, happy with the content.
Me, yes. I love it.
Awesome.
I didn't do you justice in the intro. I don't know what happened. I have to actually apologize to everyone because it's not COVID. I've had my strepsils here with me since the beginning. Because I've had this but it's excitement.
Shame. It's fine. We had the video as well.
Say again?
We had the video as well, so it's fine. Yeah. I think it was a bit long. I should have made it a bit shorter. I think. No, the intro. Yeah.
Maybe.
Next time.
But I think if I didn't have my coughing fit, it would have been fine because I had like 3 or 2 sentences to go. Let me just see.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. I'll tell you when to send them a message. It's still another 40 seconds before the first 2 minutes is gone.
Okay, yeah, because now most of them are in groups of 3 now, so we might have to extend.
That's fine. We'll give extra time. That's fine.
It's very interesting to see how it works.
Yeah.
The first time I'm doing breakout rooms.
Yeah. Okay, so can you send them a message, Carla, to say the second person to start now? Then I'm going to set another 2 minutes for them. And when you're in there, it goes very fast, very fast.
Do you want? You're not going to go in and out and check it?
No, I can't. So you're welcome to. You're welcome to.
Do not do that. That's
No,
hard.
I don't know how to, I can't do it in my position.
Oh, okay.
It has to be, but you're welcome to.
I think I'll just give him a scare now if I jump in and what are you doing?
What happened? Did the other girls leave?
No, actually, I think they left, but then they came back. I don't know if maybe there was a lag in the moving over to the rooms. So I think that might have been the problem.
Supposed to have another breakout room. Should we leave that last breakout room?
We don't need a lot of time. I mean, we've got the Q&A session, which is still your time, and then there's like 15 minutes at the end, which is basically just me saying thank you for your time and blah blah blah.
So you're okay for me to continue a little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay!
Awesome.
Okay, so you're welcome to type the third person.
Shame it's like third person, start talking now. Well,
You have to tell them. Okay, there, I've set
there's a
it long.
different way of saying it, but now it's like time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Oh, for some other reason, I don't know how I did it, but I grouped all that, like it almost went according to their initials. I see breakout room 6 is just A's, all the A's.
It doesn't matter. At least they get to talk to each other.
Yes.
So the next bit, they will talk about what content. They'll brainstorm on that. So I just want to give them some other things. And when they get back, can you do the poll, the second poll about the video, please?
Right. Shame, I saw me put Anneke into a breakout room as well.
No, but it's good. You guys also have to network, hey?
I wasn't sure if I must put you in one, and then I thought no. But I thought you could go in and out, but we'll sort that out for next time.
In the next round, you can put me. Just put me in a room. That's fine. Cool. But then you're gonna have to do the 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay. Okay.
Let me just see, they are like, all of them are in groups of 3, so it's fine.
If you want to put there last 20 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, maybe just it's gonna end now, so then you could actually just end it, because then they'll get so say leave breakout rooms. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna close all rooms now.
Yeah.
So it's closing in 60 seconds.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, yeah. I love training, so this is more like training than just speaking, eh? It's, yeah. Hey, Nina, did you have some fun?
I did.
Who were you with? Were you with Amy and Karin?
Exactly. It was very interesting.
Oh, wonderful. You're going to have another opportunity just now. So, Amy, how are you? How are you finding the session? I just want to try to unmute you. Yes.
Hi. It's quite interesting. It's not what we used to at Uviwe. As I was in a group with Nina and Karin, it was like 3 women with total different job titles basically. So one was
Amazing.
about leadership development, and the other one was about developing females who are already in business. Yes, so it
Brilliant.
is actually very nice.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank
I
you.
hope you guys are learning from each other, and we're going to have another breakaway room soon. So don't stress. And my whole point of the breakaway rooms is so that you can learn from each other and you can learn to articulate a bit more about what you do, and so that the other people can give you feedback. Because if they're not in your industry, they'll very quickly say to you, "What do you mean, huh? You know, you're using jargon. I don't understand, you know, the gardening tools of leadership, Karine." So, so specifically, you're
I did not say that. I didn't.
I'm just joking. So, Carla, is everyone back? Can we please do the next poll?
Looks
I
like,
think it's Annika's job.
yes, it's Annika's role. So you can release the next poll.
Please. Yes. So, what type of videos do you watch on YouTube or Facebook? Educational, how-tos, funny and humorous, or emotional tear jerkers? Which are your favorite types of videos? Okay, so I think you can end the poll, Annika. Brilliant. So we have 80% saying educational how-to videos and 2 are saying funny and humorous. So possibly if you wanted to look at like having a winning combo, you could add some humor as part of the deal. Nina, sorry, did I end that too quickly? I'm so sorry. Were you taking a photo? So it showed 80% enjoyed educational how-to and 20%, liked humorous. And no one said emotional tearjerkers. How interesting. So what I want you to think about, if you're putting your next video or your next presentation together, here are just a few short little guidelines for you. What I want you to think about is, what do you want them to think about? When you make a video, do you want them to think, this is an expert? Or do you want them to think, wow, this person has really learned a lot in their journeys? What are the thoughts that you want to go into the head of your brand and your message? So quickly just type that into the chat box for me. What do you want them to think about when they're listening to your presentation or your video? So let's just see what you guys say. What do you want them to think about? And this could be about you or your brand or your message. So Nick's saying, what a rebel. Nina's saying that my information's helpful. Renata, I'm an expert in my field. I'd like them to think about what I'm talking about, Beatrice. Okay, brilliant. Carla's saying, wow, so exciting. Brilliant. So the reason, oh, this is something new and different. Can I do this? Okay, no. The moment you're actually creating, the moment you actually do design thinking and you put yourself in the client's shoes and you decide, this is what I want them to think about, then you actually create that. So if you have no intention, you're not actually going to get the results that you want. The second thing that I want you to think about is, how do you want them to feel? So Maya Angelou, one of my favorite poets, and she has the most beautiful quotes, said, people will forget what you said. They'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So what is the feeling that you want to leave them with? So can you put that into the chat box for me? Do you want them to feel comfortable with you? Do you want them to feel safe with you? Do you otherwise want them to feel a bit anxious, like I did with Jacques, where it was like, just take my money. Just take my money and do the work for me. What is the feeling that you want to generate when you are conveying a message? So what's super interesting is when we are doing persuasion, the moment you tap into emotions, that's where people want to make a change. If a person is in their comfort zone, they're not going to want to do anything. So they need a bit of a push. And the moment you take them into their emotional brain, their amygdala brain, that's where they start making decisions to want to go and do something. So Tony Robbins said it really well. He said, only once the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain itself will a person change. So only once you've realized, like, I can't deal with staying the same anymore, I'll rather deal with the pain of doing the change. So let's just see what some of you guys said. Beatrice said, I want them to feel comfortable, accepted, and able. Carla, excited about their business and the possibilities. I can do this. Brilliant. Nick said, close, trust, motivated. Tasmin, inspired. Annette said, excited about our journey ahead, trusting that the opportunities can only be positive. Kelsey, safe and trust. You want them to need to act. Gaynor, I want them to feel that they trust me and that they feel motivated. So do you ladies and gents think that your tone of voice and your content will be influenced by how you want to make people feel? So once you've decided that, that will really set the tone for something, right? So it's really important, and I'm so glad that you've already decided about some of that. But what's really interesting is when a person sees your video message or your public speaking, they 38% will be influenced by the words, by the tone of voice, 55% through your body language. So this could be, are you making eye contact? What does your eyes look like? Do you look convincing? You know, is this person speaking the truth? What are they doing with their hands? So you find a huge amount of body language experts that actually looks at the most smallest contractions on the face can make a person feel like they can't trust you. So if you're making a video, for instance, you need to make sure that you actually know what you're talking about. You could maybe have, like I have some post-its here, you could stick it onto your screen and refer to those, but try to mostly look into the camera. Because if you're thinking, your eyes goes all over the show. I don't know if you're seeing my eyes. So the moment you do that, then people don't trust you a lot. So you need to pay attention to that 7% of what people take in as the word you use. Only 7%. That is absolutely insane. So I wanted to give you guys some funky things that I learned today from, yet again, Thinking Fast and Slow, Kahneman. And I was actually laughing so much because I really wasn't feeling well, and I was like, I need to sexy up this presentation because sometimes your own content gets so boring, so sometimes you just need to add some other stuff. And as I was reading it, all about psychology, and it was completely aligned to the things I train on anyway, so I was so super excited to see that I am making sense in what I'm training people on. So one of the things that he said, and this has to do, remember what I was saying to you guys earlier, system one thinking is where a person very easily takes a message in. You're driving down the car on an empty highway versus system two is very complicated. Okay, so you want people to rather be able to take it in quickly than to go like, that completely goes over my head, I'm just going to switch off, this is too much. So one of the easiest ways that he says is, can you come up with things that, can you make it rhyme? Even some of the oldest texts in the Bible was transferred through song because people could remember it. So can it sound like a song or can it sound like prose? Can you use alliteration so it falls nicely on the ear and people can hear it? So my course, I call it The Power of Persuasion. It's 2 P's and it pops. and people remember it. So can you make it rhyme or can you use alliteration? Another thing that he said is you need to choose the time really wisely, and I'll share the story with you. I was so excited because I've heard about it before. And then he spoke about the research, and I have to share it with you. So he said, I don't know if you've heard about the research that was done in Israel for people that wanted to go out on parole. So they took about 12 judges, and the way that they analyzed their behavior was basically looking at what time of the day did they see the prisoners for their parole hearing, and what was their results, and did they eat before or not. And what was super interesting is that if you're thinking system 1, which is a really quick way of thinking, so in system 1 with the judges, 35% of prisoners will never get parole. So their very quick thinking is, no, we are not going to give you parole. So if they're being lazy and they don't want to think about it, they'll just not grant it, okay? While the complicated thinking where they have to apply their judgment, think about it, is system thinking 2, okay? So they looked at it and noticed that more than 65% of parole was granted at times just after lunch when they have eaten already. Well, 2 hours to an hour before their next meal, it went down as little as 0% of cases were granted because they just went back to system 1 thinking. They were either too tired, too fatigued, to want to bother to think further to decide if they should grant the parole, so they just went for the easy thing. So yes, Carla, you need to feed your clients, but what I'm talking about is if you, and this is something that's so interesting, so I used to train salespeople and I still do, you need to look at what is the time of the day that your client is going to be able to actually think about your offering. What will be their default? When will they say yes? When will they say no? Are they going to actually have to consider it a little bit? Maybe then earlier in the morning or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock is better than 12 when they haven't eaten, or 11 or 11:30, or maybe between 12 and 2 is probably the worst time that you can see anyone to pitch for a business deal or hope for a yes. So what is the type of thinking that the person is going to apply, and are they going to be open to actually hear what you have to say, or they just kind of quickly fall on the, no, I can't deal with this right now, I don't have the energy. So you need to be very serious about when you actually present and sell to a client based on their view of the world. And then the second thing that he said is, so I've made this up, but it was all about body language. So my rhymey tone was, fake it till you make it. so if you looked at Amy Cuddy's research, she had proven that if you do power poses, it actually has an impact on your cortisol levels. Your stress levels will actually go down, while your testosterone levels, so your assertiveness levels, will actually go up. And what's interesting with this, the people in her research, when they were doing low power poses, sitting with their arms crossed, so if we go and see a client, how often do you sit in reception and you make yourself small? You're on your cell phone, you're like sitting in the corner, you just don't want anyone to see you. Do you know that it's actually affecting your presence and your confidence? So I'm not saying to you, go to a client and be like, hi, because that will set them off as well. But your own body language will have an impact on you. So Kahneman was saying in his book as well that if you decide to smile, and that's just, does anyone have a pen? Can everyone grab a pen and just put it between their teeth? Quickly do this. If you do this for a period of time, do you see that you're actually smiling? while if you do this, so just take the end of the pen and put it between your teeth like this. Okay, just stop because now you're frowning. So if you do this for a few minutes, you will either start feeling happier or feeling concerned or upset. And this has been proven through psychological research. So he actually says, the research, it says, act as if you're happy, because then you will be is actually really good at 5. So try to see if your body language cannot actually have an impact. And then lastly, before we go into the final breakaway room, is rather do short and sweet. People don't want to listen to long sentences. Less is more. If you're going to put things in writing, rather go larger, bolder, so make it as readable as possible. He also says red and blue, bright colors really works well. If you're going to print something, put it on a really high quality of paper so that people can see it really well. So all of those things has, through psychology, proven that if people can read it better, they will trust it more. So if you're thinking you're actually driving past a billboard, usually it's just a short little line that you can quickly read. It stands out, and that doesn't confuse you. So if we have the time, Carla, but then they'll just have to be in groups of 2 people now. Is it possible? Let's just quickly see. 2, 4, 6, 10, 12. One group will be of 3 people. I just want you to quickly, for 2 minutes, discuss with the person. If you had to put a presentation or a video together for a client, and you either wanted to talk about the fires or the aspirations, what could be topics that you could educate your clients on, that you could actually, after today's session, possibly say to the clients, I want to come talk to you about, so let's just say Karin's in the leadership space, about the impact of lockdown on your teams. You know, so if she has to go and educate them, that would really be helpful to them. Or how to lead your teams during a pandemic, or how to lead from a distance, or how to lead while most of your teams are working from home. Those are all of the kind of topics that Karin can put together. So I just want you to think 1 or 2 topics, just quickly discuss it with the person, and then we will close off. So over to Carla.
Opening the rooms.
Brilliant.
Yay, you guys are coming back. For a moment there, I thought everybody's gone. Anneke is op mute.
Brilliant. Was that interesting? Hey guys, we are almost at the end. I just want to round it off. So lastly, I just want you to avoid being boring. So people hate it when you start off with, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's so nice to have you here, because that's what they expect. So when you start a video, don't start in a boring way. Can you start off with a question? Can you say something dramatic? Can you pull out a stat? Can you do something that immediately you are pulling them in, where you're speaking to them? So can you, instead of speaking in the plural, can you just use the word you? Because if I say, have you ever struggled with this? I'm speaking to Anna Louise, Annette, Karine, Kesley, Tasmin, Nick, Nina, all of you, but I'm using the word you. So I'm speaking to you on your own, but also there's like 19 others listening in, you know, so do it in that way. And I've done this in big presentations, and then a person will come back to me afterwards and say, and it felt like you were just speaking to me, and I'll laugh because I'll be like, yo, it's the eye contact and it was you. So I wouldn't say that to them, but it's by design. So when you actually use the word you will find immense value. And then lastly, I will share this video with you guys afterwards. I don't think we will have time to watch it now. I just wanted to share the little story before we end. So most professionals, like for instance, Lady Gaga, there's actually the video of her and Bradley Cooper doing their performance at the Oscars. And she won an Oscar award for Most Original Song with Shallow. And what was very interesting for me is I am a bit of a cyber stalker. So after the Oscars, I love backstage, I love theater, so I always want to see behind the scenes. So I watched a lot of interviews where she was talking about the amount of preparation that went into that performance. So she said Bradley Cooper directed it. So please watch it afterwards. I'll make sure that I send all of you guys the link tomorrow. Anyway, but what's interesting is it starts off with certain amount of lighting, and they're moving the piano, and she said that he instructed the people of the Oscars to get different lights so that there could be lights on the entire audience, and it could create this atmosphere. So when you look at it, you think it's beautiful, but you don't realize the way that he walks and he gets her and they walk up there, how the camera angles goes, how the piano's moved, how the microphone's taken forward, how they go and stand opposite each other. Then she goes and sits at the piano. Then he goes and snuggles next to her. It was a performance. They rehearsed it. It was super threatening because he's not really a singer, and they were practicing quite a few days before the Oscars, because he was petrified to sing in front of his peers. So he had to make sure that he was on pitch, and I still didn't think he sang in the best possible way there, because I think it is super stressful. But if you look at the performance, it's absolutely amazing. And if those professionals who perform and who are A-list actors and singers, if they put so much time and preparation into a performance, how much time do you put in your rehearsal before you make a video or before you make a presentation? Do you get in beforehand and make sure that all the technical things are working? So my advice to you is, if Hollywood can do it, you can do it as well. So put the time and preparation into your presentations. Don't be lazy.
Yoke, you're still sharing. Are you
Yes.
sharing?
I just want to show you, just to summarize. And then lastly, just to summarize what we've spoken about, make it rhyme, choose the time, fake it till you make it, short and sweet. I hope you can remember that and include that in your next presentation, and that you notice my attempt at rhyming of rhyme and time. So if you make it easy for the people, they'll be able to remember it, they'll be able to implement it. And I really want to just encourage you with the words of Gladiator and the man in the arena. I don't know if any of you have ever learned that quote, where he says, it's not the critic that counts, or the man who stumbles, or it's the doer of deeds who actually gets into the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no great success without error and great shortcomings, but it's actually the person that does the deeds. So my advice to you is go out there, get into the arena, get into the fight, give it your all. And if you fail, at least you failed greatly. At least you've given it your all. We're all sitting with so much imposter syndrome. We get judged as entrepreneurs, as side hustlers, as entrepreneurs all the time by our family members. Why not actually just try it? Why not actually just go and do something amazing? I believe that you can do it, and I really look forward to seeing your presentations. I'll send you all of my details. I will be opening up the waiting list soon for the next bootcamp. If you need any advice or help in terms of your next presentations, that is what I do. So I'll just leave a screenshot of my details. I promised Carla that I would not do and just for today, there is this offer nonsense. So we're not doing that today. But thank you so much, everyone. It was lovely to see you, and I hope you can go into the arena and do some amazing things. Over to Carla.
Wow, thank you so much, Yoke. Our time has just about run out, but I think it was a wonderfully valuable evening. If it's okay with you, Yoke, I think if maybe we could stay on the line. Everybody's free to leave, but if there are people who still have some questions for Yoke, maybe we can stay on for another 5 or 10 minutes and see. Otherwise, those who are ready to leave, we'll be sending you an email with the information for our next event and the business school, etc. I'm not going to bore you with that now, but everybody who needs to leave can leave. But thank you so much for spending the evening with us and for participating. It was a wonderful session. I must say, for me, it has been one of the most engaging and exciting online events for Future Females Port Elizabeth. So thank you so much. And have a wonderful evening. Sorry, Yoke.
Yay!
Awesome. So we can see now if you need to drop off, feel free. Otherwise, if you have specific questions to Yoke, you can unmute yourself and we can have some discussion around it. But if you don't have any questions, that's also fine.
Thank you, everybody. Keep warm and stay safe and have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Yoke. I enjoyed very much. Thanks, Carla.
Thank you, Karine.
Thanks, Karine.
Yoke, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
The whole thing of, I think, especially for us then, in terms of, you would pitch something you want to. I think often we go for more the aspiring story. But how do you? What's that fine line between you actually want people to give? So it's that hit the donate button. That's where you want them to go. And how do you structure your either the image or how do you structure it to get that call to action happening?
Well, you will probably have to figure out what will be the emotions that will draw them to want to give. So it would be through the storytelling, it will be tugging on the heartstrings. So maybe some of it won't be aspirational. Maybe there needs to be a bit of sad stories as well, of people that went through hardships and what was the turnaround, and had you guys not intervened, and this is the kind of things that your money would go towards. So I'll just give you an example. Louise, so I'm a Christian, and in my church, they're very transparent about how they give money, and I actually really enjoy that, because I've been in so many places where you would tithe or whatever, and you would never also know. You would sit in a church and they would put up this crazy decor, and it would be about the image. Well, finally, I'm at a place where they'll say all the causes. So they'll be like, at the AGM, this money is going against human trafficking. We're doing this to get prostitutes off the streets. Then there's this Bible project. Then there's the, outreach in Mozambique or whatever. And then by them actually sharing those stories and things, sure, I'm actually willing to give more money because I'm like, I buy into what it will be used for, so maybe it could actually be explaining. So sometimes what they'll even do is they'll do videos about how has the money been used, and they'll get the people, and that could maybe be a nice thing for you to interview some of the people that has been blessed through the work that you do, where people can kind of see this is what the impact of the giving has been, so if you take them almost like behind the scenes, so they've shown even old age homes and whatever, or different charity projects, and then they'll interview the people and they'll say thank you so much, what, and then we'll be like, okay, that's very interesting, it's I think it's about being transparent, because then people feel, so that's just something else I learned from Lauren Dulles. I was on a social media course, and in there she said when you do your emailers, you also need to do almost like a bit of behind the scenes. So that's like the little case studies. So earlier I was joking with you, Annika, about a photo of you at SARS or whatever, but it shows people a day in the life of me as an accountant, and the kind of things that you're doing that they don't necessarily want to do. And if you have certain products or services, so if there's maybe like a soup kitchen or the people that are doing the training. So Carla, I took some screenshots that I'll send you. So for instance, in this environment, you also want to virtually grab the evidence that it happened. So anything online, get photos of it, So those are just some of the ideas that I would say, like, show a bit of behind the scenes. People always want to look really pretty and polished and great, but you need to actually show that there's real people doing the real work and what are their stories, because that's what people buy into. I hope that helps.
It does help. I think it's also that thing of, sometimes you think there's this winning recipe. If you do the video this way, people just go click tonight. But I think it is about the journey. What I think, Anitya, you've said it in one of our breakaway rooms, and it's about the trust that you build over time. So it's maybe 2 or 3 transparent videos and not just one miracle video that just goes like tonight and spend all your money. Thanks. So it does help.
It's even being interviewed on different podcasts or getting in on the radio. So it's all those things that if people hear about you and they Google or they then go on your website or social media, they can spend those 7 hours looking at things or meeting with you guys or going to places until they trust you.
Thanks.
So what is everything that they need to trust you to click and donate? So some people it might just be a quick little video, boom, done, but not everyone.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Yoke, I think I just want to add to that, if you don't mind. I think also when it comes to online, I know that you're talking about the 7 or 8 hours, but I think I was also on that social media mentoring course with you. And I think something that Lauren also mentioned is I think people need to be exposed to your brand or to you. I think it's 7 or 8 times before they actually, convert. So I think in that way also it's important for any company, but especially for a charity also to stay top of mind and to have, recurring campaigns running, so to build that credibility and trust and to get the conversion. So it might not show straight away, but maybe 2-3 weeks, a month down the line, it will start showing.
Totally. And what is quite sad is on a lot of social channels, the organic reach is very little. So if you just post a video and you don't then maybe promote it, so that's where you need Carla to do some marketing for you to get it to the right people. So there are some channels. So LinkedIn is the one place where you can still get a lot of organic reach. So I was last week on a challenge where I had to every single day of the week post something on LinkedIn, and I felt like I was just a LinkedIn machine. It was so much work, but I saw that I think 4 of my posts trended on different keywords. So there's a lot of science behind it, you know, and then you feel like, wow, you've done so much effort, none of it translated into people clicking the button, but it takes a bit of time. That was maybe their very first encounter with you, you know, but now they could get in your email list, or what is the journey that you've designed for them. So it is effort. It is a lot of effort, but when you position it in the right way, it can make a difference.
Any other questions for Yoke?
Or comments? Did you guys enjoy today? Did you learn anything? Tell me.
Unmute yourselves. I think Annika's trying to unmute herself.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute. Yeah, so I'm very much like a numbers person and a very like sit behind your computer and try to not speak to anybody the whole day person. So for me, public speaking is absolutely terrifying. So I'm looking forward to your doors opening soon.
Oh, yay!
Getting some advice there, because I do think with everything going more online and people being on their phones the whole time, you know, having short videos and things can be so valuable. And now that you're talking about the 7 hours to know your brand, I've never heard that, but it makes absolutely sense. If I think about me in other instances, it makes sense. You don't just see something and, oh, I'm going to buy that. You know, you see someone else using it, and then you see it again, and you see it in different places, and yeah, okay, maybe I should try it. So I do think that that's definitely something valuable that I learned tonight.
That's wonderful. And if you just put up your hand and you just start volunteering to speak at places or to offer value, then you could potentially get in front of potential clients that you can start influencing to like you.
See, it's probably also part of the reason why I've joined Future Females, is just to connect more, because like in my line of work, you tend to just like, you know, disconnect completely, and your accountant is just a report that you get at the end of the month with an invoice. So I'm trying to break through that barrier into more like an open relationship, you know, and discussions around finance. So yeah, this is like out of my comfort zone, but I'll grow in this as we go along.
And what's so cool for me is just the opportunity to meet people like in Port Elizabeth as well. So,
Yeah.
Carla, someone that you know, Debbie from Floorworks, she's been on my course and she is in East London. And so that's been so nice, you know. Yo, the world is becoming smaller and smaller. So nice.
Definitely.
All right.
Anybody else? Still questions or comments? Otherwise, we'll see you in your inbox. We'll be sending you, not be spamming you, but we'll be sending you some information.
Send them tomorrow.
Yeah, that we didn't get into tonight, but I really think it was a great session. It was very interactive, and yeah, I wouldn't have taken away time from the interactiveness to now just go through like admin stuff. So yeah, thank you so much, Yoke. I really appreciate, we all appreciate you driving down or flying in from Joburg.
Yo, illegally, you know.
I'll cut this out of the recording.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, we really appreciate it, and we look forward to hosting you again in the future. And yeah,
thank you so much to you and Annika. You guys were amazing.
Great.
And everyone else, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that was definitely the group dynamic. Sorry, yes, Annette?
No, I just said thank you. Thank you very much to Yoke and to everybody concerned.
Really nice to meet you, Annette. Annette, I wanted to give you a tip. I forgot.
Tell me.
So, have you ever heard about Google Trends?
No, I haven't.
So, I'll put that in the email. I recently did a search on Google Trends, and I was contrasting because I also train on communication, and I contrasted resilience, because I'm going to be doing a resilience leadership course with 2 other ladies. And self-care didn't really come up based on a year's search terms in our country.
Okay.
The term that came up the most was communication. So I then decided to write a LinkedIn post, based on communication. And I did it in a smart way. So I had a photo of me presenting. So it showcased, you know, this is a speaker and trainer by looking at the photo. And then I wrote a little bit of research, short tips. That post, I think, had more than 1,000 views because of hashtag communication. So I'm just saying to you, best you write some video, your hashtag, best you do some videos and writing about communication. It's very needed and people are looking for it. So I hope that can help you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Cool. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
And you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.